Now listening to the In My Opinion podcast, the home of edutainment, brought to you by Sakali, DTM, and Uzuma. So get your drinks, snacks, relax, and enjoy.
And I'm not going to do that to my kid.
100%.
So if he wants to eat Chicago town pizza, it's okay.
That's
Let him
gonna
eat his
be-
Chicago town pizza. I will. Yes, when I cook the food, I will always offer him like, do you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
eat? Like he likes jollof, and he's not a big like. He's gotten to an age now where he's happy to try and just tell me that, Mom,
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want that one.
I my pizza and over.
Nice try, but I don't want that one.
But I don't want that one, and it's good enough for me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's dope.
Do you have any experiences on food or anything like that?
She's everything.
She's
Oh, I'm jealous.
So what's her sort of
chicken
thing?
wing,
Nine?
nuggets
Yeah.
by herself.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I like a lot of those breaded stuff. Like Kevin loves pizza, nuggets.
Yeah, she loves
garlic
pizza.
bread. He's more so on the dry, beige type of diet. Like he loves
Beige diet, I love
McDonald's.
that.
Yeah, those are the type of like things that he would like. Like now he's on this fitness thing and he's doing.
Oh,
my
that's
head in.
good.
I did see him buying his gym clothes.
Oh,
who
man.
gave that idea? Was it him?
So the idea, because you have to know your kid and follow what they like. It's not that when he started to have interest in like what his diet and his fitness and all this type of things, it's more so something that he's interested in, and you just have to then guide him in line. So he downloaded his MyFitnessPal app. He started to log what he's eating. It says, "Mom, men have to eat between 2,500 calories." I say, "It's okay, it's okay, but you can count all your calories, but." If you come and start counting my calories, we'll be fine.
We have a problem.
Leave me and my calories alone. You count your own calories and eat
problem.
what you want to do. And it's more around, supporting what he's passionate about. And we've always just thought, okay, when he turns 18, then, we can register him in the gym and he can get started with going. So after he turned 18, we upped his allowance, right? But before, I'll give him 20, my husband will give him 20. And then now we upped your allowance. And then you went to JD, you are buying your clothes and you want to collect the money from me. What do you think the money
smart,
was?
No,
he was mad about his budget.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I see when it was
He would
calculating
count every single P.
He was calculating his order. It was like, boom, 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 one, but no, but I don't really want that one. He boss had the calculator.
Sharp.
If we're going out, he'll be like, Mom, he told me that day when we were going to JD Sport that, Mom, my budget is £20. I was like, Kevin, you can't buy top and bottom gym clothes. for
£20.
I wish Kevin was nice. Kevin, we wish.
Where are we going? What are we buying? So when we came out of the shop, he was like, Mom, you owe me £36.
Hey,
Sorry, love.
Nice.
He sent you an invoice.
He said, Mom, you owe me £36. I don't owe you 36. He's still asking me for his £36. If you send Kevin juice in the corner shop, he'll come back and say, Mom, the juice was £1.20 and
Yeah.
this was
Boom, boom, boom.
one. In total, you owe me blah, blah, blah. And it's more around, is from when he was young, when he started, because he had a horrid experience with primary school. And more so now is why parents have to, get in line with what your child's strengths and weaknesses are. Because they will have things that they're really good at.
Yeah.
And push those things because they will have real struggles as well. Kevin went to a total of 4 primary schools. Wow. And that was hard on him. So when it came to secondary school, me and my husband were just like, we have to do something different. And it's not like I'm shaming my son or anything. He's not the most in terms of academics, but things that he's passionate about, he will learn to a T. And when he started secondary school, the teachers thought I was mad. I was like, I do not care about teaching my son photosynthesis. It doesn't matter. Don't bother him about Pythagoras theorem because me that I learned it, I don't know how it's helping my life right now.
By the way.
Teach my son skills for life.
For life, yeah.
Cooking
And
skills,
sometimes parents just have to be empowered to know that they can have these conversations. And it's okay to be truthful to yourself and with yourself. Because it will help you. And I know that as Africans, we're wired that if you're not a doctor, if you're not a lawyer,
you
what
can't be
happened to
nothing
your life?
else. Yeah.
You're useless.
And these things are not always helpful. And they would deter a lot of things. And having that conversation with the school really helped me because then the things that we focused on having Kev learn, like travel training, because now he goes to college by himself, comes back by himself. Yeah. These type of things, the school can help you with, because a EHCP plan is very important because it sets out goals and objectives that you want your child to attain. So you have to be clear, because if they're sitting, Kevin did go to, for secondary school, he went to a mainstream school with a resource provision. So it's a mainstream school for all children, but they have like an ASD unit where the children go. And some of the lessons that he could do with the mainstream kids, maybe because he's athletic, so he did PE and drama and open economics, like the cooking stuff. But don't send him to biology class with them, because he's not at that ability to do that, or maths class or English class. And that's fine. Because I feel like if he's in those classes, it will be an extra stress, because it's something that he struggles with. And there's that added pressure of him having to learn it. And I don't see how that's beneficial. And parents need to understand this.
The strength and
Is that
weaknesses.
EHCP thing you can any parent can ask at any school or any particular schools?
No, so the Educational Health and Care Plan it's a document that you, alongside the local authority, use to ascertain what your child's whatever their condition is and what their needs are and how they are going to be best supported to meet those needs. Okay. So if there's a school that you want your child to go, the local authority can then approach the school. They have to give this plan, because it literally is your child on paper.
Right.
So it tells the school that this is the child's needs. Can you meet these needs? Yeah. And then obviously if the school says they can meet it, but they need these extra resources, then the government, the local authority would give them those resources.
Oh, okay. Wow. Do you mind me asking, just for the sake of parents that may be having children in primary school, what were the struggles? Why Kev had to go to 4 schools? Was it the schools not providing?
So the struggles were a lot. They were twofolds. So it was sometimes around expectations as parents, because at the end of the day, it's a journey. Yeah. And you learn as you go along.
There's no manual, is there?
There's no manual. And for the most part, after Kevin was born, 3 years later, his sister is 15 now. She was born, and she's neurotypical, as they would say. So she doesn't have autism, and he learned a lot from his sister, because she wouldn't leave him alone. She don't know autism. She just knew her brother, and in our heads we just thought it'd be best they went to the same school. That was a disaster, man. So sometimes it's around parents and managing your own expectations. He could not thrive in a class with 30 odd kids, and each day was a struggle. He spent more time outside the class than inside the class, because if a kid made a sound or something happened, he was just go off on one, and then the teaching assistant would have to bring him outside for a walk, and then when he came down from the walk, then they bring him out inside, and then the thing will happen again, and they're taking him outside. So sometimes I feel like it's around parents managing, being honest with yourself. If you know that your child is not gonna thrive in a big class, even if you went to that same school yourself and that's the best school in the borough, if it's not for your child, it's not for your child.
And did you feel like you had enough, the school anyways, had enough understanding and support for him as well during that?
So sometimes you would find there are some really brilliant mainstream schools that are catered for, supporting children with support needs. But some schools, like the school that Kevin was in first, their idea of being inclusive was a class, then him had like a table in the corner. So he's in the class, but he's not in the class. So you have to, as a parent, you have to try and visit as many schools. Like, just because, another thing with parents is you have to know that you're the expert in your own child's life. Like, a professional knows autism, but they don't know your child. So you have to remember that you have to be their advocate, because who's gonna speak for them? The professional or the teacher will have the child in school for 6 hours. Then you have your child for the remaining 18 hours. How does the teacher know your child more than you?
And the needs are very different and complex.
Absolutely. So it's those type of situations. If, for example, if your child is having maybe behavioral issues in the school that your child is not having at home, obviously the school will report that to you. But then the onus is on the school to find ways to support your child, because you're not having the problem. So sometimes you have to be able to say it as it is and not be scared.
You got to speak up.
If you feel like it's the school that is failing your child, say that.
It's so crazy that you said that, because my little niece as well, she doesn't have autism, but she has challenging behavior, right? She gets really, again, she doesn't like being just stationed in one place. She's and then she can get mad, like go from 0 to 100, right? And then the school, and then again, but when she's with her mum, like what you're saying, right? That's, I feel like, such a great example. Like, she behaves very calmly because the mom understands the things that she likes, her needs and everything. She provides all of that for her. But when she goes to school, imagine they try to suspend like a 4-year-old. They're saying, oh, she beat up the teacher. Oh, she pulled the teacher's hair. She did this because of that. We need to suspend her. I'm like thinking,
a 4-year-old.
Listen, every other day she's been suspended so many times from school, like been sat at home for like bit. I'm telling you this.
What year are you for? What's
like she's like in the yes, bro. Listen, I'm telling you this. She's been suspended so many times because they just like. They're literally, and that one school there is the one that I just know that they're just literally not trying to work with the parent to actually support because like she will go there like and be like, no, like she don't do this with me at home. These are the things I do for her, and this is how I support. But then the week after, again, she slapped a teacher. Now she's suspension, and I'm thinking grown adults are unable to manage, like, bro.
How does she even reach them?
Listen, let me tell you, some of these teachers, I only just found this out recently that you don't have to have specialists. You don't get extra training. Sometimes I feel like the teachers themselves are at a loss. Like at least with your child, you are learning from your child. Some of these teachers maybe have no experience. So sometimes there's that bit to it. I feel like if you're a teacher of a special needs child, you should have additional training in having techniques to manage this. And no. Apparently, this is not the case.
So do you feel like so those so crazy. What you're saying is technically they're just putting
a teacher,
any teacher with.
I'm telling you, I didn't even think
that's
this
a big
before.
problem.
I did not know
shortage because like it's almost like because there's a shortage in that area. It's like quickly shortcut qualification.
A lot of
we need
to, and a lot of them like the type of way like you would deal with your own child, they don't have that patience.
They don't have the patience.
But then there's a class sometimes
it's not
30
right,
children.
That's a lot.
It's not.
That's a lot.
30.
I'm telling you,
it's hard on both sides.
Have you had
It's
any
hard.
experience then with schools, nurseries, everything been fine?
It's been all right.
You're blessed,
but
my
the school
brother.
that she goes to, they obviously they cater for like kids
So
with
it's a
special needs.
school.
Like,
And
so
that's
they will
what
have like
parents,
assigned.
Okay,
like,
so that makes sense.
But she got put into that school. It wasn't the original one, but that school, like they have those sort of facilities.
Which is great. And there's a shortage of them schools now.
Yeah, wow.
With
this government we have.
Yeah, so
God
it's
help
never
us,
that, you just have to like be heavily involved.
Yeah.
If that means like this is what you got to do full time, then
So
that's what you
because
have
she's
to
having
do.
to like get a private tutor. Because every time she's just suspended for like 2 weeks, she's just sitting at home doing homeschool, all of that stuff.
They definitely need to put more funding into that, man.
Oh, facts.
Like, I'll happily go and do a job like that.
Rishi, if you're watching this, please.
Either way, this is why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah,
To spread awareness.
They need to put more money into that, man.
I think though I also wonder then if we're suffering here, what do you think about the kids in Africa?
Africa, yeah. A big man, you touched on that.
That have autism.
Facts.
I'm telling you, and it's a totally different. The struggle is different.
It's a different level.
And when after like raising Kev, kind of, I had no idea the page was gonna do the way it did, but that wasn't my intention at all. So my dad visited. So my dad is proper Niger, like lives in Nigeria, and he visited. I think it was Kevin's first year in college. He came, and Kevin had like an annual review. So every term you kind of sit with the tutors to see the progress and all these things. So my dad came along with me, and he was just in awe. Like, there's this type of, so there's a school for children with additional needs like this, and I just got curious, like, so what, is there none of these in Nigeria? And he was like, there's no autism in Nigeria.
Wow.
But when he said it,
I'm not surprised.
They don't.
I'm not surprised.
Dad, come on now. And then when he went back home, I said, look, I'm going to give you this little assignment, and you're going to go and check if there's a special needs school and see how it is.
Research.
And this in my village, they have one school that has been open since '84. Let me tell you, it's a special needs school, but it's a school for all sorts. Like they educate children with autism, along with children with Down syndrome, along with children. It's
Everybody's
almost like if you don't fit in mainstream school, then this is
Everybody
where
there
you
you
go.
go. Wow.
That's not helpful. It's
I'm
progress,
telling
but
you.
it's
Resources.
not.
And
Yeah.
I suppose I had to look at, okay, how do we go about, because I'm only a person
Yeah,
who's
you're
raising
a
a son. I don't
person,
even know
yeah.
what I'm doing half the time. So I'm trying to look in terms of having a charity more so around, because I feel like the government, my dad said it's category like, even people that don't have disability, they don't, government doesn't care about you. Not to talk
Wow.
of if you
Yeah.
have a
Sad.
condition. And even speaking to the ed teacher of the school, I had a Zoom meeting with her, and the struggle. Do you know, last Christmas, I sent my dad like 120,000 naira. This was like maybe £100 or £120, and asked the ed teacher to kind of share it among the parents that are, you know, in the most desperate need.
Needs.
And you should see the gratitude. There's no, at least here, even if the support is crap, at least there's still some.
There's still, yeah.
There is you for yourself. And the ed teacher was saying sometimes you see kids getting dumped at the gate or in the bushes because the parents just are at a loss of what
They
to
can't
do.
handle it. Because I can imagine if you here in the UK, at the early stage with Kevin, it took a while for people to actually understand what's going on. Imagine back home. Yeah. What your family, relatives, people, neighbors would be saying about you, saying about your child. Imagine that, and then you don't have the education, you know, and all the resources to even understand what's going on.
And it's a big thing in that. Like, oh my God, like my DMs, sometimes it keeps me up at night, the type of things I read in them.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you.
What's the most surprising thing you've read?
It's more so around people just feeling like it's tragedy. And there's the flip side of, like, I had a mom say to me that she can see that her son clearly needs help, but the husband is totally against it. And I'm like, I'm going to take my child to that assessment and then we're going to sort it out with the husband later. Because the thing is, early intervention is so important. Like, you can't leave things till your child is 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Like, you kind of have to get down and move with and run with stuff. Because it's just like with any other child, the first 5 years of life, those are the formative years and they're very important. And if I have a husband that's in denial and then time now be going by, it really will impact the outcomes for that child. And it wasn't me to say to this woman that, oh, we better go and hide and take the child to the assessment. I know that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
But then these are the issues because I'm just a person on the internet. I don't give... And this, I try and separate, like, I will show you my reality, but I'm not a...
You're not qualified, you're not professional, you're not...
And sometimes I feel like this is what people be looking for. And I empathize with them because it's hard stuff that people are going through.
See why your page has grown so quickly over the short space of time.
Is she here or is she back home? You know?
So this particular lady is here and the husband suggested that the kid go back home in Nigeria where there's nothing. There's no resources.
To do what?
That is better
Because,
to be better.
They seem to think like they need discipline, they need to go there.
They beat the autism out of you.
They're not. Because you got to remember now, as like the generation goes, like, because we're from a different era, so what our parents would have known to now is different. So the more we get, like, say, we have kids, they're aware of these things. They have kids, like, it's gonna eventually be a norm. But we're still at that stage where we're going through that transition. You know what I mean? So they don't understand what we understand. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult,
it's a
man.
Stigma. It's big.
Yeah.
Stigma.
And then when you see it amongst people that you don't expect it from, it takes you aback a little bit. I had a nurse that she clearly knew her son has struggles and she was ready to buy the services private because she didn't want it to be on the kid's record.
What? Not because private will give better care?
No, because
Just
she
because
didn't want a child to have a disability.
Our people, you see this thing called pride.
And I think it's stigma. It's just the stigma that is so attached to disability that it can't be a good thing.
Yeah, you don't want it to be, me, my friends, my family to look at me like
That's a
it's
big
crazy.
problem, man.
So what will happen if it is on the record?
I don't know.
Like, why is it?
So that means that, okay, it's on the record that your child has a disability.
That's insane, man. It's
That
crazy.
is sad. And did you support her, or was this just something you knew about?
I think sometimes you just have to offer a listening ear and accept people's, you have to
Choices.
respect people's choices. Like sometimes it's a listen here, and that's what it is. Because I can't impose my thoughts. I can
course.
give insight, but
You can't impose. No, I respect that.
No, you're really, really, really doing well with it, man.
Yeah.
Doing really well, man.
What's one of the biggest miscommunications about children with autism, you'd say?
I would say it comes out of lack of understanding and, us embracing differences. And it's almost a case where different can't be it's misunderstood. And we always have a fear of the unknown because, okay, maybe I can predict that, okay, you're talking to me, it's banter, but someone with autism, be like, oh, maybe they won't like that joke. Maybe.
So you're almost
So it's almost like if it's a gray area, let me just maintain my champion. I don't say, say anything. And I feel like that's you feel like they don't have a sense of humor or you don't know how to talk to them. And yes, there is communication issues. There's that. But then it doesn't, if we can all just go at the pace of treating everybody as a person first.
Not their
Give them the
disability.
chance. Give them the
All these other
opportunity.
extras wouldn't be so big. 'Cause so what if you say hello and it takes them? Because with Kevin as well, if you say something, it has to process it
Right.
and then give you a response. So you might not get it spontaneous, maybe like I'd get with you. But then what's so wrong with that?
Don't stop trying either.
That's a good point.
What is so wrong with that?
Before offset, you was talking about something that I think is so important, right? And I don't want us to go without talking on this, right? Because you're talking about before, when he was younger, you couldn't wait for him to get out of the house, right? Get older, be more independent. Now he's 18, he's got his phones, he's got everything, and he's, out and about. And then obviously you're talking about the worries you have, right? And do you want to speak a bit more on that?
I feel like we raising children as they grow. You feel like the worries become different things,
Right.
Yeah.
And for when Kevin was young, I feel like our whole goal was getting him as independent as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that we've now got to the
You want to reverse the progress.
The training wheels are off now.
So there's that bit. We just wanted him to, because me and my husband are not gonna live forever, and our whole goal for him was just for him to be able to sustain himself. That if something happened and he had to live by himself, that he knows how to make himself food, that at least he can
survive,
give himself a wash, and he can, those type of things, and go outside to the shop and buy something. I know that if I give you £5, you have to, and I buy something for £1, you give me £4 change back. I actually told the school that I want my son to know money maths, not all this extra maths. And now that I feel like, when I was speaking to my friend about this the other day, that on his 18th birthday, we went away, and that night, it was almost like a full circle moment for me, because I in one spirit, I was kind of patting myself that, okay, Tola, maybe you didn't do so bad. And then it dawned on me that there's police, and then there's black boy drama, and there's all of these things. And you can prepare your child as much as you could, but then there's still the reality. And we try, and these days, like the type of talks I have with Kevin is, if you go outside and someone wants to snatch your phone, just give them the phone. Like, don't do big boy, because just give them, if someone wants something you have, please don't fight, because it's little things that escalate. And I'm like, if you're ever in a situation where, please call me first. No comment. Call me first.
Yeah.
So now you're having this other flip
Worries
side
now.
of, and Kevin, like, there's something about him and his fitness and getting his 10K steps in and all this type of stuff. So he's out and about a good bit. And he's so good with communication. Like, it would be, out of my three kids, is the one that probably, I think he calls me more than my own husband calls me. So he's good at kind of, communicating. But sometimes I try and not be like I'm on top of him a lot. But, sometimes you sit down and you're holding that phone, like, as the text coming, is he on the bus from college? Or maybe if the bus is on diversion and it's slightly later than he usually is, your head is already thinking 20, 30, 40 things like,
life of a parent.
What has not happened? It is hard. And there's the flip side of him as well. Yes, being 18, but he's 18 in stature and height and physique and all of these things. But in terms of his learning, he's not 18. And there's if he's outside playing with like his brother, Wiz, is the closest to, is 9, and they get on like a house on fire. But then when he's out kind of hanging out with Caden's friend, he's like the big tall boy with the little ones. And sometimes, like, if Caden is playing with a group of kids, I have to just, they're not as big as you, they're not as strong as you, so you have to be, and there's all these learning that you have to teach, because it's a wild world that we're living in.
I can imagine, and it must be difficult because obviously he can't wear a label saying, "Hi guys, I'm autistic." So it's like when we talk about the police and you're talking about black boys, I can imagine the worry.
It is a worry. It is a worry because you only have to look a certain way to have done something wrong.
I know,
Facts.
especially and because he's tall. But
And
we
always in
rebuke
tracksuits,
it in
black.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
Nothing like that will come towards him.
Facts. Amen.
On a lighter note, I was really interested to get your opinion on this. There's a show that I used to watch called The Undateables. I don't know if you've seen it. And have you seen it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Muggsy, you know it? Okay, so it's a dating show that has people like with normally like learning difficulties, and they hook them up with like blind dates and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, number one, obviously, because Kev's 18 now, he's independent. I was wondering, number one, first of all, do you think shows like that are helpful, first of all, or are they kind of like exploiting, these young people with these disabilities?
I watched a bit of it, and I think for one of the couple in particular, like he did find some type of
Partner.
partner. I think for the most part, it is what it is, and sometimes about sharing awareness that this are the realities, because matters of the heart is a whole different
ball game
angle as well. And I suppose, will I send my kid on it? I don't know.
If he wants to go on it, what would you? If he finds himself on it, he's like, "Mom, I wanna sign up to this."
What am I going to do?
It'll be a tough thing,
it's just, I suppose, managing the reality of what it would be and supporting him with that. But it gave insight. It gave insight. There was, maybe bits and bobs and parts of it, but
I just don't like the title. That's my issue.
Yeah.
The Undateable.
The Undateable. I just don't know who signed that off.
I feel like they wanted that shock. We're living in an era where they just want having that. I want to see what this is. Yeah, who knows?
Like that shock factor for me is just And okay then, so how is Kev's relationship with his siblings now as a 18-year-old?
He's maybe because of us, like he takes his big brother role very seriously.
Wow.
Like he does, and like he would do things like he's like the sweetest kid. Like he will make Caden's breakfast before he makes his own. Like he does things like that, and I think my kids in general, like my daughter is 15 now, so for the most part, like she just wants to like glue her edges and like, tops and all this type of thing. But they're so close knit. Like if Kev was in trouble and I was giving out, you will see them coming and say, "But mom," they're making excuses for him and doing all this type of things
Trying
for
to
him,
back
and he's
him up.
the same with them. But I see his relationship with them, and it makes me feel warm inside. I'm so grateful for how that is, because it's not easy, raising a neurotypical and neurodiverse child. It's as I said, you have to just tailor
Try and make it gel.
And sometimes children go through a phase, especially in teenage life, where so how is him having this? Because if Kevin does something out of not understanding, and my daughter does something that's the same, and I know that she has understanding, obviously Kevin might maybe not get a pass, but have a more lenient and there's that bit that you have to navigate as well. Because children these days, they will speak their mind. I don't know.
That's true.
Kev did it. You didn't do nothing.
You didn't,
to Kev.
They will speak their mind. Well, he's allowed to go, "Hey, my daughter now." Well, Kevin's allowed to go to bed when he wants. He's 18 years old.
Do you do work?
He gets more pocket money because
Do you do more work around trying to educate them as well in terms of what
I'm
he's...
telling you, their siblings, they don't care about his autism. They care that it's like they don't.
Oh, man.
Kev is Kev. Like they do know that he has autism, but like we're a very competitive family. Like when we go
Wow.
bowling, like nobody's saying, Kevin, let me help you throw your ball. If your pin did not catch, your pin did not catch.
And that's good because now they're treating him like they're treating him like one of us. Like, there's no, that's dope.
They're so competitive with each other with everything that you're almost like, guys, calm down. But it's lovely because at the end of the day, I think this. I don't want the show to be morbid, but they would have each other when we're gone, and I only would hope that they be there for each other.
Amen.
Beautiful.
You know, and you just have to keep them. When Kevin was small, as I said, he's only 3 years older than his sister, and she literally from age 1 was talking and doing. So she did a lot of his talking for him, and then she'd be holding his hand. And because when he started talking, his speech wasn't clear. Yeah. And things that I cannot hear, Kayla can hear what Kevin said. Kevin said that he was this and that, and they're still like that. They fight over everything because she's probably in his room and you don't come to my space, don't come to my room, don't touch my stuff, don't do all these things. But I suppose it's siblings and it's banter.
It's quite interesting how that is though, when kids can understand like.
Yep. Kids do that.
Yeah, I never thought about that way.
What does Kev want to be when he's older? Does he have aspirations like?
He doesn't really talk about like it changed from because when he was smaller, he was just obsessed with like the bus. That he was just like, well, I'll just go to drive the bus. Because he knew if you wanted to go to this place, it would tell you the bus that goes there. Like he actually sits on YouTube. I don't know, he doesn't even do it anymore now. The way their interest changed. Like if you tell him, if you say, I'm going to Peckham, he will tell you all the buses that go there.
He's probably got it all in here already.
He had maps in his head. And if we were going on a road trip, he'll be the one that would navigate our maps and all for us. But now he's so into his fitness that I'm thinking.
So it might be a PT.
Never know. You never know.
Who knows? But I suppose we just have to support him with wherever his interest lies, and just see how that can be sustainable for him.
And like, what advice would you give then to the parents that are just at the beginning of this journey, trying to navigate it, trying to understand it?
Very good one.
I think that you should, in the initial days, let yourself feel how you feel. I think I said this in one of my posts, and people have different opinions about it. It's okay to mourn who you thought your child would be. Like if you had, nobody sets out to have a kid and says, I just want to have a child with, an extra need or whatever it is, or disability or whatever way we want to look at it. So if it's okay for you to cry and mourn and feel whatever you want, whatever way you want to feel about that dream that you had for your child, because it looks different now, but then don't dwell there. And after you've gotten over that, then live your reality. Live your reality. Because sometimes I feel like you just have to get over that place of everything was going to be all fun and games and this was going to happen and that. Because I had those as well. I totally did. And it's everything is on the other side of you accepting your kid for who they are.
Yes.
Everything else is on the other side of that, because everything won't be as big. Something will be small like this, but you see it so big because you're just not in that frame of mind to see it for what it is.
Those are words, man. These are what you do.
Wow, done really well, man.
Thank you so much.
You did an amazing job,
And
man.
hopefully you can support Uzoma, because he's almost at the beginning of his
His
journey.
kid's a good kid. Everything's going good. But
Exactly.
He doesn't need no help, eh?
I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Having
for
fun.
the most part, it's good stuff. Like
Yes.
it's the way you look at it.
Yeah, you know what I enjoy with it? It's just sometimes it's like you're in a whole, like you go into a whole different world with them. Like you start to understand things. Like they might not be able to be too vocal about certain things, but there's certain movements you start to understand. Okay, this means this. This means that. This means that. It means they want this, or it means they don't like that.
It's teaching you something new.
Yeah, because it's like all you know is. But it's always nice to go and learn like something like that. It's a good feeling, man.
But
and you know the one that gets me the most?
Yeah.
Like they could do something and you could say like, what you doing? Kind of, and they just say that same exact thing and you're just there like...
Oh, what she'll say, what you doing?
So what you doing? It's like, you know, you're
And
trying
what
to
you
tell
go for
someone
me?
off. You're trying to tell someone off for something they've done. They tell you the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Now it's like they're telling you off and then you just laugh and it's just
And you even forget you were angry.
Yeah. And you're just there like...
Oh, I love
But
that stage.
But it seems for you thank God that it's been quite great for you. But are there, for anyone else that's going through this journey at the beginning, any challenges you faced and how you overcame them?
I think for me, like I said, like I wouldn't to use myself as a big example because, like I said, because of what I went through as a child,
You're very
I have a
understanding.
lot of understanding and patience. So I think one thing that's very key is like you need to have patience and just take
Patience,
your time
facts.
and then just that's my main thing. Patience and and like you said, just accept it for what it is and just
Roll with
do
it.
the best you can as a parent.
I don't know if you had any more last words before we almost come to the end of this beautiful.
Yeah, I think another thing is that a question I get a lot is, when did Kevin start talking? When did Kevin start talking?
yeah.
You have to know that communication isn't always verbal. It's not always, and I just wanted to say that because you mentioned it. It's not always in the, I want this, I want that. Like, non-verbal communication is big. And parents you have to know your child.
Yep.
Because they might not have the words to tell you, but they're telling you in other ways. And you have to tune in.
Their
And if you're
actions,
lost, then
stuff like that.
absolutely.
Wow.
And there's devices these days that are very helpful, AAC devices that even children that are non-speaking can use. And I've seen some children use it so brilliantly.
Yeah.
What
that
was
they
that
can
called?
It's an AAC. So I think it's an app that you can download on an iPad or an Android. You have to download it on a device. And children, because they're very visual children for the most part, so they can literally, if they click on different pictures, then it makes it into a sentence.
A sentence.
And
Wow, that's so
it's called
cool.
AAC.
So the device,
yeah.
I think the app is called an AAC.
AAC. Okay, yeah.
So basically, there's apps out there that
That can
people can
help.
actually look into that can help.
communication.
No, dope.
Okay, well, for us, because we were so happy that you came here, we thought we'd get you something nice.
Oh.
So a little something.
Where is it?
It's over there.
Production is bringing it.
Production is bringing it.
How do we say? Toss so hurry up. Did you how do you say? How do you say?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No,
Fast.
Oh my God.
It's very heavy, by the
Oh,
way.
is this heavy? Yeah. Hey.
There's another the best for
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Beautiful flowers for you.
Oh, thank you so much. This
Come
is
with flower
beautiful.
food. And you will find a lot of goodies in there. But one thing that we got for Kev, because we love him so much.
We
noticed-
likes this thing.
Exactly.
very
we
much.
saw that he loves pancakes, or he's made his own pancakes. So we've got some
Yes.
pancake mix in there.
Oh, thank you. I
And-
will love it.
Yeah, and then we thought we'd stretch him a little bit.
Okay.
So we also got a cake mix.
Okay.
Yeah, we thought since this side of
See?
pancakes,
It would
see if we can also do
graduate.
cake. So please show us that video when he finally gets there, whenever he's
Please.
ready.
Absolutely.
And then we've also got noodles in there.
Noodles,
Before
yeah.
that, we heard that he loves
We
noodles.
tried our best to find Indomie,
Yes, we
but
couldn't find
it
Indomie.
seems like there was, but we
hope
got
he-
something very close.
Yes,
Okay.
I hope he
Thank
likes
you.
that packaging.
Yeah.
And yeah, other
No.
things for you as well.
Thank you
And
so
one
much.
more thing, also, please, it would be nice to have you and Kev at our sports day next week.
I was about to say
for
that.
National, what we
Autistic
National
Charity.
Autistic
Okay.
Society.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a sports day to raise charity,
to raise awareness.
Funds. Okay.
Yeah,
So we're
for,
raising funds.
the autistic community. So please,
That's on the
Make sure you're
13th.
there.
13th. If you can make it, yeah,
if
be
you
in
can, if you
Blackheath.
can make it.
Okay.
It'll be in Blackheath, yeah. So if you can make it, and guys, for everyone watching, I don't even know when this is gonna be out, but it might not even be out.
But if it's out,
But if it's
it'll be
out,
there.
yeah, we're doing a sports day, so
And since
definitely
Kev
come
is
through.
into his
Yeah,
gym,
Athletic. Tell him to come.
He can come.
He'll be on my team because I have to win. I must win. So if you're free, bring him down, bring the family
Absolutely,
down.
absolutely.
We'll be definitely
Because-
happy to host you guys.
Yeah, always happy to support any cause.
There'll be jollof rice as well, by the way.
By the way,
There'll be
we
jollof
should have
rice.
started with that.
There'll be jollof rice.
There will be jollof
There'll be
rice.
jollof
Okay.
No,
rice.
she used to
Niger jollof.
does she get
Yes.
it like that? Is it with chicken or beef?
No, it comes chicken, beef, plantain.
And
yeah.
No, you're not getting the one with chicken.
Oh,
Since you
wow.
said you can eat rice by yourself.
No,
But that was if there's no chicken.
You don't forget nothing, do you? You don't forget nothing.
I'm like, nah, she must stand on it.
Carly,
She must stand on it.
We'll tell the caterer for him specifically extra
No
spice.
chicken.
Extra spice, yeah, in that chicken,
Let's see how you do
Yeah,
it.
let's see how you do it.
garnish Scotch bonnets
We
inside that
will
chicken.
spice compopulate your body.
No,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much
much.
for
No, we
coming
appreciate it, man.
on.
Thank you
Where
so
can
much
everyone
for coming.
find you? Do you wanna-
So for now, we're on Insta and TikTok at raising Kevin. Trying to grow a Facebook community because not everybody,
Is
different
on the-
platforms
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
different
yeah.
people. So yeah, Facebook as well, raising Kevin.
And is there any other support groups that you could recommend or anything like that? Or do you know?
I
of
think
any?
in terms of equipping yourself with information, the internet is free and there's
Yes.
information on there. National Autistic Society
Society,
is
definitely
good
have a lot
as
of
well.
information.
There's resources for autism, which is
Yeah.
good as well. And they give, and sometimes it's just a matter of following other people in similar situations. too.
Yep.
There are a good few platforms as well now that share, autism content that you may
can
find
follow.
useful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so you heard
perfect,
that.
Perfect.
Trust me, look into her content, Raising Kevin. It is amazing. Honestly, I just love the bond she has with Kevin and the whole family. The
Whole
way everyone
family,
gets in
facts.
with the
Yeah.
content. I love that. So
I saw
make
the
sure
one
to
when he was playing
support.
basketball, yeah, and he was just hitting nothing but swishes. And the third one hit the thing and came back. Yeah, he gave up. He was like,
But you know, sometimes when you're doing well,
I'm telling you.
yeah, you're like, no,
I
forget
started
this, man.
laughing.
Yeah, forget this. No, the content is it's
Oh,
amazing.
man.
I
Thank
love it,
you.
man. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Guys, if you've enjoyed the episode, make sure you share it, comment, like, subscribe. Give us your feedback in the comments, especially if you're also on your journey of raising a child with autism. And yeah, we'd love to hear more from you guys. Follow us everywhere.
Facts.
Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, In My Opinion Podcast UK. We're your boys and we're out.
Peace.
Yo, it's your boy Sukali from the In My Opinion Podcast, and I'm here to introduce our newest sponsor, none other than Ava Estelle. This skincare company was founded by a caring husband after he couldn't find a remedy for his wife's skincare problems, and it cured hers, so you know it's going to work on your skin. I personally use this to keep myself moisturized, so if you know you want that soft skin, you know winter's coming, you got to stay moisturized, make sure you use this. It'll have your skin as soft as a baby's bottom. Check out Ava Estelle.
Thanks for listening to the In My Opinion podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, peace.